Hi guys. Okay, so now we're going to look at sequences and series. So that's the next topic. I've written up the top here what you're given in the formula book. And these questions are gift questions because you just use the formula book. You're just matching up what's the A, what's the B, and plugging it in. Don't overthink it at all. So here we've got the first 4 terms and we're given here. So here we can see our A is 1, our B is kx, and our n is 10. And we're just going to substitute it in to this formula. So a to the n, so 1 to the power of 10, which is just 1. Then we're just going to write 10, 1, 1 to the power of 9. And then you've got b, which is kx on its own to the power of 1. So you've got, let's rewrite that here. So a, if you like, here is 1, b is kx, and your n is 10. So that's your second term. Your third term, 10, 2, 1 to the power of 8, kx squared. And your fourth term, if you follow the pattern, you've got 10, 3, 1 to the power of 7, and it's kx cubed. And now, even in your formula book, it tells you NR means NCR. So 10, 1 is the C button, which is on top of your divide sign. So you've got to do 10, shift, divide 1, which is just 10, and 1 to the 9, which is 1, and kx. So you end up with 1 plus 10kx, 10c2, which is 45. Kx all squared is k squared x squared, and then we've got 10c3, which gives us 120, k cubed x cubed, and that is your answer to part A. Then it says, given that the coefficient, now remember coefficient means the bit in front of, so the coefficient of x cubed is this bit here, and the coefficient of x is the bit in front of x, which is this bit here. Okay, so the coefficient of x cubed is 3 times the coefficient of x. So you've got to really think about which way round that is. So that's saying that whatever the x is, we're going to multiply it by 3, and it gives us the coefficient of the x cubed. Now, hopefully you can see there's k's on both sides. You can divide through and you get squared. So you've got 120k squared equals 30. So k squared equals, so you'll get k squared equals 30, so 3 over 12, so 1 over 4. So k, and the clue is the fact it says possible values. Doesn't tell you k has to be positive or negative. Remember, when we take a square number, we get the positive or you get the negative. So square root of 4 is 2, so you get half or minus a half. Okay, so 2a. Oh, I didn't mean to delete that. Okay, right, let's scroll up and rewrite that formula out for you, how it's given to you in the formula book. So the way that you get given it in your formula book is a plus b to the n a to the n plus n1 plus n2 and so on. Right, so in this case, my a is 1 and my b is 3 over x, and actually it's squared. Sorry, we don't need to use binomial expansion. That's just our normal squared. There's me getting excited. Okay, so this is nice and straightforward. Square the first number to give me 1, times them together and double it, so we get 6 over x, and square the last one, 9 over x squared. Okay, so that's nice and straightforward. For part B, my a is 1, my b is 3/4 x. So a is 1, b is 3/4 x, and n is 6. I'm going to put it in the formula. So we're going to find the first 4 terms. So a to the n, 1 to the 6, which is just 1, plus n1, so we're going to do 6, 1. A to the 1 to the anything is just 1, so we stop worrying about that. And then that's times 3/4 x. And we've got 6, 2 times by 3/4 x. So if there's a 1, it makes it easier. You can almost like ignore it. 6, 3 times by 3/4 x cubed. Right, so we're going to do 6c1 in our calculator, which gives us 6, times by 3/4, and all in your calculator, which is going to give you 9/2. And in my calculator, I'm doing 6c2 times by, and this time 3/4 squared. And that gives you 135/16, and you've got your x squared. Then you've got 6c3 times by 3/4 in a bracket, all cubed. And that's going to give you 135/16 x cubed. So you notice the x squared and x cubed term in this case are the same. Then it says, hence find the coefficient of x in this expansion. Don't open out the whole thing. So what we're doing, I'm going to write up here, so we're taking this, which is this, and multiplying it by all of this. 9/2x, just put that 2 properly, plus 135/16 x squared, x cubed. Now here you've got to think about what things will give you an x term. So let me think about when I multiply, if I do 1 times 1, so if I do that, that's not going to give me an x term. But if I take the 1 and I multiply it by the 9/2, I'm going to get something for the x. So that's the easy one. Then if I take 6/x and I multiply by 1, that's not going to give me an x term. If I multiply it by 9x or 9/2x, the x's will cancel. Again, not going to give me an x term. However, if I take this and I multiply it, take this one and I multiply it by this, you'll have x squared on the top divided by x, which is going to give me an x term. And then for this one, I've got to multiply these together. So let's look at what the coefficient is. It's got 1 times 9/2. You've got 9/2 plus 6 times 135/16. So 6 lots of 135/16 and 9 lots of 135/16. You plug that all into your calculator and you get 2097/16. The numbers are not pretty, but don't let that scare you into thinking you've done it wrong. A lot of these questions, the numbers are not going to come out beautiful and nice. Okay, next question. Exactly the same process. We get our A, which is 2, but this time we've got a minus. So the whole of that B we think about as minus a half x, or minus x/2, and our n is 7. If I clear that, let's do question 3. So in this case, we've got our A is 2, our B we think about as minus x/2, or minus, which is the same as minus a half x. And our n is 7. So let's put it into the formula. We've got a to the power of n, so 2 to the power of 7, plus 7, 1, 2 to the power of 6, multiplied by minus, I'm going to put it like this, a half x, just so you can plug it all in a calculator. And then 7, 2, 2 to the power of 5, minus a half x, and this is all squared. So in your calculator, what you are typing is 2 to the power of 7, which should give you 128. Then you're typing in 7c1 times 2 to the 6 times minus a half, because your x is there. Remember, it's your x term. And that's actually going to give you a minus 224x. That's what that gives me. And then the next one, I'm typing in 7c2 times 2 to the power of 5. Now I've got minus a half all squared. Now remember, that's going to become a positive. So to stop yourself making a mistake, maybe put a positive there first. Type it in your calculator and you get 168, and that's x squared. Next bit is not telling you to do it. It's telling you to explain how you'd give an estimate. So what you would say is, well, I would make this equivalent to this because I'm matching it up. So I would say solve 2 minus x over 2 equals 1.995. And you can solve it and you get x equals 0.01. And then you'd say sub this into expansion, or just you can do an arrow up to give estimate. It's only 1 mark. That's all they're looking for. We don't need an essay. Okay. Next question. Let's have a look. All right. Find, oh, it's come out a bit weird. I don't know what's happened there. Okay. Right. Find the first 3 terms, giving each term in its simplest form. Explain. Oh, so this is almost identical to this question here. There's just a few different values. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to rework that. Your A in this case is 2. Your B is 3/4 x. Your N is 6. Okay, and your answer to part B would be almost identical. I'll give you the solution so you can work through it, but you should get 64 plus 144x plus 135x squared. And explain again, you'd say, well, I'd make 2 plus 3x over 4 equal to, 1.925. I get x equals minus 0.1. I substitute it into the expansion. Okay. Right, question 5. Find the first 3 terms in ascending order. So it just means, but it's just following the formula again, giving each term in the simplest form. Okay, so let's work through this one. So A equals 2. B is x over 6. So you've got the sign, you need the minus. And N is 9. And you're going to substitute that into your formula. So you've got 2 to the power of 9 plus 9c1 times 2 to the 8. Now, I know you might get really good at these and really fast, and you just want to sub them into your calculator and write the answer. It's fine if you're going to get it right. But if you go through this process, if you plug it in wrong, you're still getting most of the marks. You're getting 3 out of the 4 marks. So it's really worth writing this step out. Also, if you're somebody that goes back and checks your work, it'll be easier for you to do so, to retype it in your calculator. So we get 512 minus 144x. Remember, I'm typing in 9c1 times 2 to the 8 times minus 1 over 16, sorry. And then this one I know is going to be positive because I'm squaring it. I get 18x squared. Now it says, find the first 3 terms given each of the first. fx is all of this multiplied by some random a plus bx. I've got a plus bx multiplied by all of the thing I've just done. Okay. And I'm told the first 2 terms are 128 and 136x. Okay, so the first term is just going to be those 2 multiplied by each other. Everything else is going to give me an x term. So I know that 512a must equal 128. So a must be 1/4, because 128 divided by 512 gives you 1/4. And now we want to find b. So how are we going to get an x term? To get an x term, it's going to be this a multiplied by minus 144. But it's also going to be this b multiplied by 512. So we're going to have minus 144a, which we know is 1/4, plus 512b, which is going to equal, what did we told? 36. So we're going to then be able to solve for b. So we'll have minus 144 times a quarter. So we'll get minus 36 plus 512b equals 36. 512b equals 72. So b equals 512, 9 over 64. That's a 72. Right, so we get 9 over 64, which is b, and you've got a, which is a quarter. All right, let's have a look. Oh, all right, and that's it. So hopefully that makes sense. Just use the formula. I know you might have been taught it a different way or using, but you know, maybe it's me. I don't like storing any more brain power for things that are given to you in the formula book. You know, there's no extra marks for trying to learn loads of stuff. Right, I hope these have been useful. And the next one, I believe, is trigonometry. So I'll do that next and hopefully finish working.